What did success look like to you going into the program?
Self-sabotage for sure. And just like feel proud of myself every step of the way, which is something Luke always encourages. So to yeah, just like not feel like, oh, I'm only gonna be happy when, but like to just be proud of myself throughout the whole journey.
Yeah, I follow that. Yeah, the more proud of yourself that you can be, the more you believe in yourself, the more action you're going to take. So, in this video, we are going to break down some of Taylor's success. Taylor's on some momentum with us. She's been with us for just over a month in neuroproductivity. So, yeah, by the end of this, you're going to have an idea of what it's like to work over here at neuroproductivity, as well as get some golden nuggets from Taylor, I'm sure, as well. So, Taylor, welcome in. Um, Taylor, how old are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
Hi, I am 28. I am originally from Illinois, small town in Illinois, but now I live in Denver, Colorado, and I am a spiritual coach. I help creatives find their vision, find their purpose, not through force, but by allowing.
Hmm, powerful. So yeah, in terms of um where you're at, what motivated you to hop on a call and talk about your journey?
What motivated me to hop on a call, talk about my journey is because I'm just really grateful for the progress that I've had. And since working together, I have seen so much momentum on the sales side, on my process side, on organization side, and just on like my confidence in being a business owner. Because I feel like in spirituality, it's kind of like seen down as like, oh, you're not supposed to make money, and like having a business. Why are you selling that? And I really had to get out of my own way. So like through working with Luke, I've been able to like get out of my own way around that and like see myself as like, especially because Luke is so wholesome. He has a very holistic approach to how we work together. It just allowed me to like bridge both of my worlds and still be a like badass business owner.
Let's go. Okay. What was the challenges you were facing before you started working with me?
I would just say one, like lack of organization. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I was just going out on a whim, just like making it happen just from being me, which I'm grateful that I have that within me. But no structure at all. So that was just the big thing, like no structure. If I don't have any structure, then how can I start to like grow? So like growth was stagnant or it was like all over the place. And I didn't have any systems in place to track where the growth was coming from and how I can create more of that.
Mm, yeah, yeah, I resonate with that. What was that leading you to think and feel at the time when you were going through that?
That it was just like a game of luck. That like, oh, some people they just get it because they're like really awesome. But and like for me, it's like, oh, I've just been lucky these times. I just gotta wait for like my next round of luck. But I see that that's not what it is at all. It's just about having like the correct systems in place.
Mm, yeah, I feel that. And what had you tried to do to try and solve that challenge? Like, I know your work's like really powerful with manifesting side of things, but at the same time, like, what had you tried to solve the organizational and structural challenges?
Honestly, I mean, I don't know. I hadn't really tried anything. I was just going off of like manifesting it all and just allowing like God to take over. And I'm like, God's gonna work it out for me. And I mean, God, the universe, I say all those words interchangeably, but like it was working it out for me, but it was also on me to like do my part and like not having the systems was just like not doing my part. So I hadn't tried. I mean, what had I tried? I would try, like, I would try to say, "Okay, I'm gonna build up these." I don't know. I hadn't really tried anything, to be honest.
I, so what would you say was the biggest thing that you were doing that was sabotaging your success? Like, what was the biggest way that you were getting in your own way?
I think just showing up when it felt good, and again, just not being able to track what I was doing, just like I'm posting this content because it feels good right now, and like this is the way to go. And while that is beneficial, don't get me wrong, um, I didn't know what was actually working and what wasn't. I was just doing without keeping like I had no type of tracker. That's for again, that's just like the biggest thing for me. So I feel like getting in my own way was one just showing up when I feel like it, which is something that we're still working through. And not being able to track like what's actually working. Just like, oh, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't really care what like my audience wants. I'm just gonna do me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that you said like you're still working on it. And I say this to people like, well, I'm going to do the same drawing that I did for you earlier. But like when people are like going through their transformation, they have this aspect where they think like, oh, self-sabotage. Okay, like I'm never going to do this again. And don't get me wrong, like some of the hardcore habits, like some people out here might have like issues with pornography or cocaine or weed or whatever. Like some of that, yes, eliminate, right? But you're still gonna get the thoughts that lead to that. And it's kind of like the peaks and valleys that we were talking about earlier, where it's like, okay, you have this peak, you get some new cash flow in, and then you do things, or you think a certain way, or you feel a certain way, and then that stops you showing up at your future self, and you just enter into past self. So what we do with the stuff with you is like we had that embodiment call where it's like, hey, what are all the things that you're sick and tired of? What are the things that you're feeling? What are the things that you're sick of doing? And then we just work on shortening the gap. So then that way we have the peak and then we do like a little dip and then we come back up and a little dip and then come back up. And then we just reframe, reshift those thoughts, which stops the feelings and stops the actions. So yeah, that's a little bit more to give you guys and Taylor, of course, some context. But what did success like look like to you going into the program? Like, what was the core foundational things that you really wanted to work on coming into the process?
Self-sabotage for sure. Um, Stopping this like start and stop process that I always do, where I get a lot of momentum, I start, and then the momentum leaves, and then I'll stop. But the stop is for a long time, so I wanted to stop that, and just like feel proud of myself every step of the way, which is something Luke always encourages. So to yeah, just like not feel like oh I'm only gonna be happy when, but like to just be proud of myself throughout the whole journey.
Mm, yeah, I follow that. Yeah, the more proud of yourself that you can be, the more you believe in yourself, the more action you're going to take. So it's definitely another important piece of the inner work that we work on as well. So how have I helped you specifically in achieving success? I know that you've had the 4K in sales in your first month, which is awesome. Like it's a good stepping stone. And now we're looking at like raising your prices and like dialing in some of the things that are falling through the cracks, which is cool. But what did success look like to you going into the program?
What does success look like to me
Yeah.
as far as like sales?
In terms of like what you were really wanting coming into the program.
Yeah, just like the structure, the starting and stopping, like I wanted to stop that and just seeing myself overall as being a entrepreneur, like this is who I am, like really I stepping into that, embodying that identity for myself.
Hmm. And I think this was the question I asked. That's why I confused you. My bad. I'm like, oh, I got a question and let me just change it. No. Um, so how have I helped you and how have we helped you achieve that success?
Oh, for sure. Um, One, just having the accountability has been extremely helpful with the starting and stopping because I feel like without that accountability, then I could just get in my own way. But yeah, the accountability has been super helpful, and also everything that you've offered, like all the resources that you offer, the emotional work, like you were saying, like what were you not going to do? I feel like after that, I was on this high, and I was absolutely not no more. But of course, life, so the little dips came. But yeah, just the resources that you've provided with 90-day, like having that plan and then being able to track like what's working, what's not working. That's been really helpful. and the accountability. I would say those are top two.
Mhm. Yeah. I've actually got a little exercise for you. So this is something that I've experimented with. I'm like kind of letting everyone else know this while they're listening to this bit as well.
Okay.
But so you know when we did the future self embodiment call, and it was like what you're sick and tired of, and then like we created that like emotional change.
Mhm.
So what I find has been really helpful is actually going back through that document and then voice noting it. So
Mm,
what I would recommend that you do after this call is go back through the document and voice note it to me.
mhm.
Like getting that same energy and be more expansive. Like if we're like, hey, like there's more to add here. Like I'm done with this. Like
Yeah,
go
for
for it.
sure.
Um, and then what we can do with that voice note is we can either have it in our Telegram channel and we can pin it. So anytime that you have a dip, you can
Mm,
go straight back to it and snap back into future self.
mhm.
Or or we can add some like motivational background music underlying it. So then you can kind of be like your own inspiration. You're like, yeah, you know what? Like I'm gonna keep being this version of myself.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, I like that.
Yeah. We trialed that with one of the other students. It's worked well. So we'll do that for you as well. Okay. So now that you're on momentum, you're starting to get systems in, you're starting to build, like what do the next 12 months look like to you?
The next 12 months look like to me just to keep scaling with the business to not have to wear all the hats. That's like a dream of mine. That's something that Luke has been talking about in the community and with me personally. It's just like setting up like SOPs and just really creating the systems and organization so that I can start to hire and do what I love to do. And what I love to do is I love to create content and I love to like sit on the calls with my clients. Like that's primarily what I love to do. So to have other people taking care of like all the back end, that would be a dream for me. So that's what the next 12 months look like is just keep progressing on my end so that I can make that a reality.
Yeah, for real. It's on the way. It's on the way with cooking. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I think so many people get so caught up in thinking like, I'm not ready for hiring, I'm not ready for this. And it's like, yeah, but imagine how much easier your brain would feel if you already knew like, hey, there's a process to this, there's a thing to this. And like if you can just take off like 1 hour of your time from editing or whatever, and tend to hook up like all my clients with the systems that they have. If I have somebody for it, then we'll hook them up with it because I've usually gone through the training to train that person as well as audited them because you can go and say, I'll hire somebody, but you don't know who to hire that can actually create more work for you. So yeah, I'm excited for that point as well for you. But knowing what you know now, if you were to do this process all over again, I can appreciate you're only like 4 or 5 weeks, which seems like crazy. Um, in this, what would you do differently if you were to start again?
Hmm, I'm not sure. Um, what would I do differently before I started?
Yeah, if you were like your version of yourself who hadn't invested into this,
Hmm.
yeah, what would you do differently?
Maybe invested earlier.
Mm,
Um, yeah, because I would have definitely invested earlier, especially when I had like a lot of momentum at one point in my business. I would have like took that time to say, okay, I have momentum. Let me like lock in on um the system side and like the self-sabotage side. And yeah, I definitely would have did this earlier.
mm. Okay, I feel that. What's been your favorite part about the program and the process?
I would say my favorite part is I do enjoy the groups. When I go, I enjoy the groups a lot. It's nice to just see where like my peers are in the program and to bounce ideas off of each other. Like I really liked the breakout room that we did. It was really nice talking to um, Javier and I don't know why his name is slipping me right now. But yeah, it was really nice talking to them. So That's nice. Just always like having that community of other people. And then like appreciating other people's wins too inside of the community chat is like seeing what everybody else is doing and like how they're celebrating themselves. I really enjoy that. I do genuinely enjoy communities. So
Mm,
that's definitely been my favorite part is the community.
mm, okay, rock and roll. So for anyone trying to achieve a similar level of success as yourself, what's one thing they should avoid?
I would say the number one thing to avoid is shame. And I know that's easier said than done, but like Luke was just talking about, you have those peaks and those valleys. Like when you do hit that valley, don't shame yourself for it because you'll stay there longer. So like see it for what it is. It is what it is, and then like dust yourself off and try again, and then like just get right back on the horse. Because if not, that's what usually keeps people from like doing it. It's not the fact that like they can't; it's just the fact that they won't. Because they're like, oh, I messed up. If you mess up, you mess up. Just keep going. So that's just the biggest thing that's been helping me, like self-compassion. Just have so much compassion with yourself on this journey.
Mm, yeah, I'd love to know like your why. Like, I think this is important as well. Like, what's your why for doing everything that you do? Like, what drives
Yeah, I have a 7 month old. So for me, I've been talking about, doing this for years, for like the past 4 or 5 years. I've been wanting to become an entrepreneur and follow my dreams and do that full time. But I always get in my own way. So now I have a daughter, I have a little one looking up to me, and I don't ever want her to feel like she can't do what she wants to do because of a voice in her head telling her that it's not possible. So I have to show her that like I'm gonna overcome this, even though I'm gonna help her with that voice in her head, but like I'm gonna overcome this. She's gonna see that, and I want her to know that like she can do anything she wants in this world. So my baby.
Mm, yeah, I love that for you. I think it's so important that we make a decision to break. Because, like, for context, like, Tyler and I are working together now, but we actually had a call, like, before you had a daughter, before you were pregnant as well,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people that I talk to who, like, they want to have kids. Like, I'm in the boat myself. Like, I've had the chat, like, literally yesterday.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so, like, I've had the chat that, like, I want kids and stuff, but, like, if you were to talk to a version of yourself before you had your daughter who was still growing her business and still doing her thing, what is one hard piece of advice that you would give to that version of yourself?
I would say go full in because you have the time. Like now I'm on her schedule and I just think about all the time that I had before I had her and how I just wasted it and how I was like doing anything else but running my business. Like if I had that time now, I feel like I would be, like my whole life would be completely different. But I am on her time. So I would tell her like get to it, hire a coach ASAP, get to it, and like just stop. Like stop all the BS because you have more than enough time and you're making excuses. Like get to it. So yeah. Yeah. I think about that a lot.
Yeah, it'll make me cry, yo. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna tune into this myself. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything else closing out this little beautiful success story that you'd want to give advice to or you'd want to talk to people about? Is there anything else that you'd want to share?
I would just say definitely hire Luke if you are on the fence. It's been an amazing investment for myself. I've already seen my money come back, and it's just beautiful to have the support that Luke provides. And yeah, I would just say if you're on the fence, get the support because you go so much further with someone else than by yourself. Like I tried to do it by myself for the longest, and I just kept running up against so many blocks and walls. So I would just say get support, any support, hire Luke, but just get support. Seriously.
Get help.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and Taylor came in when we still have the program on a discount now, but yeah, pretty much every other person, so every three people, we raised the price. So I think Taylor came in when we were at 80% off
Mhm.
program, so it really was a steal
Yeah, it
coming
was.
in. And yeah, regardless, like if you're on the fence, like this is the opportunity is now. Like the opportunity is now. You're still gonna get a ton of one-to-one from me. And if you are serious about this, tuning in, you're like, hey, like, yeah, I don't want to wait another year to get moving with this. I don't want to have another call with Luke a year from now. Like, then get yourself moving. Taylor, if people are interested in connecting with you, where can they find you? Feel free to plug everything here.
For sure, for sure. Mainly, I am on Instagram at Beyond Taylor, Beyond, and then Taylor with an E, so Tayler, and then also on YouTube at Beyond Taylor. So you can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Beyond Taylor. That's where I'm hanging out right now. So come say hi.
Yeah, Taylor's got some sick content around manifestation. Go check it out, y'all. So with that said, I appreciate you today tuning in. Again, guys, if you're listening into this, like the worst thing that we can do is have a call and I just say, hey, I don't think you're ready right now, but here's some training so that you can get ready. Like that's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you come on board, you do a 4K month or more. Like in your first month, we had Justin do 57K his first month, which was like a 2.5x his cash. I don't know what cash return yours or like sales return yours was, but I think when we signed up, you were at like 1 or 2K on a
Yeah,
month.
yeah, I was at like 1K. I had a horrible month right before we signed up. It was bad. Like
Yeah,
it was really bad.
yeah. So to go from like 1K to 4K, like that's a 4x increase. Like,
Yeah,
of course, like these are payment plans, but payment plans are going to recur. So we keep getting
yeah,
payment plans. You still have the same cash flow coming forward. It just pays you over a longer period of time.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, with that said, I appreciate you so much, Taylor. And I'm excited to keep working together and dial in more of these systems. And I'm excited to see what this pipeline looks like. Like, let's tighten up these.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited too. I feel like I'm on a high now again. So this week I'm gonna crush it. And like that time I said 2 sales, I'm coming for 2 sales this week. So
Yeah, let's play.
that's that's the vibes I'm on. So yeah.
Let's play. Let's play. Let's play. All right. With that said, appreciate all you guys. Like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, just drop me a DM on Instagram. With that said, appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.